whole world's been after you since about 8:30.
Who in particular?
The Deputy Chief.
What does he want?
Inter alia, operational expenses. There's a purge on.
Again?
Still. And I'm not surprised. You can charter jumbo jets for less than Willie Kane spends on taxes.
What else?
Ministry of Defence rang. Director General Intelligence would like to see you no later than close of play today.
Right, book an appointment with him before lunch. Sandbaggers can deal with that. And that. And that's Hong Kong Station Report of Proceedings. I better have it back this forenoon.
Oh, no one in the hutch.
What?
No Sandbaggers. Laura stood down. Willie's at the dentist.
Willie, according to Willie, goes to the dentist about twice a week.
By taxi.
Okay. Fix the appointment with the DGI. Let's see if there's anyone at the Ministry of Defence.
Right.
Do you know the new Commodore Intelligence, David Earl?
No, Neil Burnside.
Glad to meet you. Take a pew, Neil. Well, how's life with the Cloak and Dagger Brigade?
A lot more cloaks and daggers these days.
Know the feeling. Interesting report from our man in Paris.
Oh?
A Russian ship called the Karaganda in Brest at the moment.
Merchant vessel?
Purportedly. And of course enjoying all the privileges of a merchantman.
But?
We think she could have a hull outfit.
Sonar?
Maybe. Maybe an underwater outlet for divers.
Any evidence?
Not yet. But the Karaganda has a habit of going into NATO or French ports.
Always ones where the commercial harbour is adjacent to a naval base or some other military activity.
And now?
We've made a discreet check on her movements. She's staying in Brest another 5 days. We thought a quick look at her hull. Photographs, if possible.
Why don't you use the Royal Marines, SBS? We'll supply an underwater camera, special film.
Neil, French harbour, Russian ship, serving Royal Marines in an act of espionage.
If they were caught.
It's a possibility.
Exactly. With respect, sir, it sounds to me as if MOD doesn't want to risk it, but is happy to pass it on to SIS.
It's a covered operation abroad, that is SIS.
Not necessarily. And anyway, I'm down to 2 sandbaggers, and neither's a trained diver.
But let's not forget your special projects team, even if you do keep them tucked away.
They're far from forgotten. But I think we're debating the wrong point.
Oh, are we?
It's not a question of who will carry it out, but whether there's any evidence to support this operation.
Look, that ship is wandering in and out of foreign ports virtually as it pleases.
No diplomatic clearance, no real controls.
I understand all that. But you must understand that if we take action on this theory, and it is only a theory, the responsibility for it shifts to us.
So?
You're asking me to mount a politically sensitive operation without a shred of evidence.
But there is evidence. It's circumstantial, maybe, but it's strong.
Not strong enough, sir. I'm sorry.
We intend to make a formal application.
Well, you won't get it approved.
Well, let's see what your masters have to say.
Of course. But as it stands, even if it gets past us, the FCO will file it back.
I hope that doesn't mean you'll have a word with your former father-in-law.
I beg your pardon, sir.
Well, it's a well-known fact that you have the ear of the permanent Under-Secretary of State of the Foreign Office.
It's a fact that I was once married to his daughter. Anything else is supposition, like the purpose of your Russian ship. Good morning, sir. Nice to meet you, Commodore.
I keep sending letters to the KGB. Tell them even an ugly bird would do. Even you'd do.
Sorry, don't go for the working class.
I hate Mondays.
Hello, boss.
How was the dentist?
Oh, a new hygienist. She can scrape and polish me anytime she wants to.
Well, if she's got an alarm clock, move in with her. Anything?
Your celebrated former relative would like to know
I've
if
had
you
enough
can
of that joke today.
Sorry. Sir Geoffrey Wellingham wishes to see you at the club after dinner tonight.
After dinner? Foreign Office having a purge on expenses too?
He's dining à deux with Sheikh Hamad.
Hamad?
Sheikhdom of Al-Jalada.
Sheikh Tariq, son and heir.
It was easier when Arabs rode camels. All right, ring the Near East desk, ask them to send up a brief.
Done that. Top of the heap. Oh, the Deputy Chief has been on again.
How good, Mr. Peel? He's reportedly leaping up and down about operational expenses again.
Oh, well, you could do with the exercise. Morning, Neil. William?
So?
I'd hoped to see you earlier.
Yes, well, I had to go to the Ministry of Defence.
Airfares.
What?
Airfares, Sandbaggers.
Well, what about them?
They're costing a fortune.
Well, we're hardly in a position to book 3 months in advance, huh?
But everyone else travels economy. Transport costs have to be cut back 10% across the board, and that means the operations directorate as well.
It can't be done.
I've agreed. Personally, I'll travel economy if it helps.
Well, I don't think it should. Either the government wants a secret service or it doesn't.
Because if it does, it has to finance it. I mean, I'm a special agent, I'm James Bond, and I get paid less than an assistant undersecretary at the Foreign Office.
Yes, let's not go into that again. If I can't have your agreement, I'll issue a directive. I won't have any nonsense on this, Neil. You'll do what you're told.
I'll resign first.
I don't mean so melodramatic. Why do you always have to cosset the Sandbaggers?
I don't. If they go first class, they arrive fit. If they go economy, they arrive tired. The difference could be their lives.
An overstatement if ever I heard.
How would you know? You've never been in the special section.
I was head of the Hong Kong station.
Yes, the only thing you put at risk was your liver.
I think that deserves an apology.
Yes, it does. I'm sorry.
Think about the airfares, won't you?
Did you win?
The round maybe, not the battle. I wish I hadn't got up this morning. Right. What do you know about the sheikhdom of Al-Jalada?
Hot and horrible. It's full of sand and Arab oil.
And Hamad, son and heir to Sheikh Tariq?
Well, if Hamad is anything like his father Tariq, forget it. Because Tariq is so pro-Soviet. He probably wears a fur hat instead of a burnous.
It's not like Wellingham to waste a dinner.
Not at all. I enjoyed it very much.
Then I shall hear from you, Sir Geoffrey.
Within the next few days.
Excellent.
Well, goodbye. Evening, Neil. Sorry to keep you.
That's all right, sir. Good dinner?
Interesting.
Thank you.
My guest was Hamad bin Tariq, Crown Prince of Al-Jalada.
So I gathered.
He asked to see me, off the record.
Oh.
Has ambitions to be a ruler, rather sooner than when his old dad shuffles off this mortal coil. Fancies a coup.
If we'll help.
We help him get rid of his father. He turns the Sheikhdom pro-West, buys British weapons, gets a British firm to build the new refinery. I know that. The thing is, we'll have to handle it very carefully.
Well, don't you think we should check up on Hamad first?
For?
He can promise us the earth now, so we'll help him. But once he's in power, he can do what he likes.
Well, it can't be any worse than his father.
We don't know. I mean, he could be pro-Red China or anything.
Well, there isn't much time for checks. Tariq's palace guard is due for re-equipment a couple of weeks. Arms deliveries from Moscow.
Well, don't make the checks urgent.
But who do we get to handle it?
Our lot for the intelligence aspect. Support for the coup through the chief of the defense staff, I suppose.
I didn't want to cut MOD in at this stage.
Oh, well, they'll have to know. Before he goes before the Defense and Overseas Policy Committee.
Of course, but I rather wanted to present it myself as a package. What to do and how to do it.
You've already got one, knighthood.
It's not bad. But I do think the Foreign Office ought to lead on this. Besides, my opposite number at MOD is a pain in the proverbial.
All right, shove the whole thing at sea and we can lead on it.
But you will deal with it personally.
Well, not in the first instance. I mean, something as big as this will go through Peel.
Oh.
But he'll task Director of Intelligence and myself with implementation.
I'd rather have the tea lady or the office cat than Peel.
His heart's in the right place.
Well, Where's his brain? You got anything for me?
No.
Go on.
Well, I had a row at the Ministry of Defence this morning. No, I don't want to pull strings on that one.
You may regret it.
No, that's true. Well, tell Derry for courtesy. Right.
Just been to see Wellingham.
Well,
You got a copy of his directive this morning on Sheikh Hamad?
yes, I was awaiting your summons.
Fine. Well, there's no real problem.
On what?
We'll do a brief recommending support for the coup.
Well, we can't make recommendations without a full appreciation.
There is a time factor in this, you know.
And a lot of questions. I mean, how much support does Hamad have in the country? How well organized is it? How quickly can it be rallied?
Yes, we could progress all that while we're doing the brief.
We're starting off with recommendations and working backwards. Oh, of course. We do have long-term costing coming up, don't we?
What?
We are in the throes of a financial cutback. And this is a coup with us leading. If ever we wanted to justify our existence.
It's not that at all. And anyway, even if Hamad isn't pro-West, so what? There's an anti-West regime in there at the moment.
But we'll have engineered a coup. Interfered in the internal affairs of another country. Rocked the Middle East boat. All for want of proper checks.
Willie,
Laura?
is Mr. Burnside really interested in communist China curtailment of religious practices?
No. Could go daft if you mark that to him. He's only interested in anything vaguely operational.
Only interested is right.
Huh?
Well, apart from spending his nights in the ops room, what does he do for relaxation?
Well, it's difficult for him. He doesn't drink.
I think we're back to religious practices.
But what about SAS involvement?
What?
Special Air Service, the guys who do the actual fighting.
Oh, we'll get them.
Well, have you checked their current commitments? Availability of aircraft to move them? Holding position prior to the coup?
Clearly, for once, you haven't spoken to Wellingham. He doesn't want MOD in on it at this juncture.
Well, he might not want MOD to lead or even joint lead. But we must consult them, get a military input to the brief. Well, do you know how to secure an airfield? Because I don't.
We'll make a recommendation, then we'll tell MOD.
Sorry, sir, we do this properly, or I go over your head to sea.
I am going to mount that coup, Neil.
After proper checks.
I think we both better call on sea now.
Oh, indeed. But as I understand it, you're both in favor of the Hamad operation, in principle at least.
Subject to the proper checks. If we put Hamad in power and he turns out worse than his father, it'll be disastrous to us.
Embarrassing.
Disastrous. It'll prejudice approval on future operations, lower our credence with the CIA, turn other nations against us.
Look, let's face it, Wellingham has made up his mind.
Oh, to hell with Wellingham. He's feathering his own nest as usual.
He wants quick approval, then an urgent meeting with Hamad in case Hamad goes to the CIA.
All right, let's see if we can progress both elements together. Neil, you work with the intelligence staff on checking Hamad to your own satisfaction. Matthew, you talk to the MOD on a provisional basis about SAS involvement.
Sir, I've explained Wellingham doesn't want MOD alerted until the last possible moment.
And as I've explained, if we can't have the SAS, we can't mount the coup.
Make it clear to MOD that we're leading. What we need at present is a guarantee of SAS involvement if and when the Foreign Office endorses the operation.
Very well, sir. But I hope we don't lose the whole thing because of delays.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, Neil, that Calcutta business. Had Willingham already spoken to you about Hamad?
Yes, last night.
Matthew doesn't know.
Well, I do try to play down that particular relationship.
But you know what Willingham's game is?
Yes, he wants to present the whole thing as Wellingham's coup.
Vanity or power?
Just Wellingham.
Sorry, Matthew, but there it is.
But it's essential.
The notice is too short. In the next fortnight, the SAS is fully tied up, mainly with this Northern Flank exercise.
Well, I'm talking about an operation, not an exercise.
Of course, but if we pull out of a major NATO exercise at a moment's notice...
Well, you'll be ordered to do it, I'm telling you.
Maybe, but we can stall for a week or two, get through this exercise.
Stall?
Certainly. Need to record the area, devise a plan, discuss the landings of the RAF, evaluations by the General and Air Staffs. We could spin it out till Christmas.
What are you up to, Charlie?
Up to?
You know damn well that as soon as the crunch comes, SAS will be off there like a dose of salts.
When the crunch comes, yes, but the crunch won't come before DOPC approval, and the DOPC won't take it until you've talked with the Army.
So what do you want?
Nothing. Burnside's block what we want.
What?
Well, we're making a formal application, but without SIS support.
What do you mean?
The Karaganda in Brest Harbor.
News to me.
Didn't Burnside tell you?
Burnside thinks he runs SIS single-handed.
We want a couple of divers from the Special Projects team check out the Karaganda's hull.
And Burnside refused?
Well, Burnside controls the SBT.
But I control Burnside.
It is important to us. The paper's done. I could let you have it by close of play today.
And the SAS?
Always glad to help.
Sit down, Laura.
Thank you, sir.
You know about the Al Jalada operation, Sheikh Hamad?
I read the brief in the FCO directive.
Did you see that Hamad had a long and intense affair with a French girl?
Yes.
This was terminated by the girl, who left Hamad abruptly, and it is understood without explanation. Hamad is now known to be shy and insecure with women, and is probably a very lonely man. I want you to get close to him. Pick him up without frightening him off. I'm not asking you to sleep with him.
Well, why don't you get a lady who will? I'm sure SIS have a long list of those.
Undoubtedly. But I need a fast intelligence assessment by someone who can knock him out of his stride.
What makes you think I can do that?
Because you're beautiful. That's a statement, not a compliment. And I dare say if you made a supreme effort, you could be passably sociable.
What do you want to know?
Whether or not he's really pro-West.
You think Arabs discuss politics with their women?
I'm not saying it's going to be easy. That's why I'm using a sandbagger.
A woman?
You.
Oh, what are you doing about getting proper replacements?
Replacements?
For Landy and Denson.
Well, you're one of them.
And no, I'm not. No, I agreed to become a sandbagger on a temporary basis till you found replacements.
And I'm saying I'd like to keep you.
No, thank you, sir. I want a proper job on a station gathering intelligence.
You still don't consider special operations to be a proper job?
Well, it may suit some, but not me.
I know.
Because, sir, the sandbaggers have to work for you.
What a bitch.
You fancy her, that's your trouble.
Shut up. Do you think she can do the Hamad pickup on her own?
Well, yeah, she's got the brief. She knows where he lives, where he goes.
Yes. She just told me what I can do with the sandbaggers.
I'm not surprised. She fancies you too. I can't understand it myself.
What the hell are you, a computer dating service?
No, she's a woman. She needs respect.
I do respect her.
Yes, as a sandbagger.
No, I was wondering if we could find
Laura, on my phone, will you approve her taking a mini from the pool?
Yes, if you can get one. But you better warn her they're more jealously guarded than the crown jewels. Come on, Diane. Tell her not to bend it. Form filling goes on forever.
Yes.
You were wondering if...
Oh, yes, if the CIA have anything on Al Jalada.
Well, you could ask Jeff Ross.
Unofficially. Beale's rather keen we beat the CIA to this one. I might ask Jeff for a drink tonight. CIA are bound to have looked for me. Burnside? Right. Sandbagger 1 allocated. We're coming down. Tell C, inform the FCO desk and alert travel. Looks like you're on your bike.
Where?
Anchor. We've got to walk in.
Oh.
Okay, Sam, what's the score on this one?
British Embassy anchor has got a walk-in. Russian called Kutuchev. Claims to be a high-ranking official with the Politburo Secretariat.
Well, how do you get from Moscow to Anchorage?
On a visit to Armenia. Crossed the border, went as far as a place called Ezrum in Turkey and phoned the embassy from there.
Have we asked Moscow about it?
Awaiting replies.
What's he proposing?
Either to go back and work for us, but that seems dodgy, or he'll come out and talk.
He sounds a bit keen.
Yes. FCO clearance to lift him?
At working level. Should be approved by the time Willie gets there.
If Willie goes there. Do we know what Kutuchev handles?
Middle East affairs.
Oh, he could be my favorite Russian. All right, Willie, lift him.
Control, sir?
Short lead, assemble onwards. Who's the number 2 in Anchorage?
Jack Jarvis.
Oh, he can control a Punching Judy.
Well, you'll have to show him now.
Could I not swap with Laura?
I don't think Hamad goes for rough trade.
Are you all right?
My legs feel like water.
Come and sit in my car.
I'm sorry.
Not at all. It's all right, Victor. Go and open the rear door.
Oh, I've left my handbag in the car.
Do not worry. My driver will get it for you. You'll feel better soon. It's just the shock.
I only collected it today.
I'm sorry?
The car.
Ah, perhaps the brakes are defective.
No, only the driver. I thought it was a straight road.
It is, for a very long way.
I saw the rails and I wanted to overtake it. In my bright, shining Mini.
Now, that is understandable.
I'm not thinking very clearly.
That's just the shock.
I must get to a telephone.
Oh, we shall find one in a minute.
I don't want to delay.
I'm not in a hurry, but I think you were. You have an appointment?
No, that's what's so stupid. I was on my way home. I was working in Guildford.
And where is home?
London.
I'm going to London.
Well, if you really don't mind.
I want to help. Truly.
Thank you. And for the lift.
You're not cut?
No.
You need a drink. We shall stop at a pub and then telephone.
Just a moment. Transport pool.
sir. Yes, I authorized him. No, as a matter of fact, she's highly trained in fast driving techniques, all weather driving, anything else you care to name. Yes, do that. And if you have any trouble spending transport, ring me back.
Laura's pranged the car.
She wants it collected. They want 14 forms in triplicate.
Well, don't worry about that now. You have to meet Jeff Ross.
Are you 15 at the club?
You were late last time.
Oh, stop fussing. You're like a frustrated mother hen.
Mother hen, but I dispute. Leslie Winfield's here, waving a top secret pack.
Wheel him in. Hello, Leslie. Insomnia on the Russian desk?
Sorry to disturb you, sir, but I've been asked to walk this around. The media clearance.
What is it?
Request from the Defense Intelligence Staff.
It wouldn't be a Russian ship called the Karaganda, would it?
Yes, sir.
Any idea whom the Deputy Chief saw at the MOD today?
I believe it was the DGI, sir.
Mm-hmm. Surprise, surprise. Who drafted this?
I did.
Good. Very fair.
Thank you, sir.
Of course, there's no evidence to support the theory. They're bound to turn it down.
I imagine so, sir. Thank you.
How do you feel now?
Well, my hands have stopped shaking. A few more of these, though, and my head will start spinning.
You're looking much better. There's some color in your cheeks again.
Where did you learn your English?
At Oxford.
What did you get? A degree in morale boosting?
No, it's true. You look... It would make me very happy if you would have dinner with me.
Oh, there's no need for that. You've done everything required of a gentleman.
Oh, but I mean it. We could dine here. The food is very good.
But you were on your way to London.
To the theatre, but the play will still be there tomorrow. Or next week.
Oh, we were going to the theatre. I haven't only messed up my car, I've messed up your evening as well.
I was going alone. Instead, I have your company. For dinner, too, I hope.
Well, all right, thank you very much.
Can you find out the times of sunset and sunrise?
A Russian ship Karaganda for approval, sir.
Thank you.
D-Ops and D-Int have cleared it.
I think we can give it a little more bite, don't you, Leslie? If you want clearance, never say we have been invited by MOD. Say, urgently requested. And if desirable becomes vital, that should do it. Now it looks as though we mean it.
Refer back to the director, sir.
No requirement for that and no time.
Yes,
I'll sign it as soon as it's typed.
Thank you, sir.
Go on, Leslie. Let's get it to the FCO tonight.
Yes, sir.
Check on the next.
A coup?
Maybe.
That's a good idea. The Arab nations are worried about Tariq.
In what ways?
Well, he operates a sort of isolationist policy. Gets everything he wants from the Russians, so he stays out of Mideast affairs. If you go for a coup there, don't blow it.
Don't worry, Jeff. I know the dangers.
Okay, I'll ask the folks back home. Is Hamad pro-West? Does he have a following in the country?
And what's his relationship with his father?
Got it.
Right. Next subject.
Yeah?
Man called Katushev. Supposed to be a top official in Moscow, Politburo Secretariat.
Katushev.
He's just walked into Ankara.
You want to know if he's legit?
He says he's a Middle East expert. Could help me with Hamad.
Yeah, okay, I'll check him out. Who's lifting him? Your new and lovely lady?
No, Willie.
Tough on Katusha. How's she making out?
She's all right.
Well, anytime you want to send her over to me. For experience, of course.
She's not too keen on that kind of experience.
You were right. The food was marvelous.
Yes, not bad at all. Are you ready to go?
Look, you said you live near here.
Yes, I do. You're very welcome to stay.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. I just mean there's no point in going all the way to town. I can get a taxi.
But my chauffeur is outside. I would enjoy the drive with you.
Please, Hamad, let's not overcomplicate it. I can go home alone.
Then you must take my car and chauffeur. I insist.
All right. Thank you.
Can I see you again?
Well, you've got my home number.
Lunch tomorrow?
Ring me tomorrow, when the wine's worn off. I'll be at home all morning.
Do you have the day off from work?
Especially for you. Thank you for rescuing me.
That's it.
Sam, sir. The FCO on local vetting on our new friend. So I told Willie to stand by for further clearance. He won't be a destination yet anyway.
Okay, make any encouraging noises at them, Sam. I want a big favour from our new comrade.
Understood, sir. Oh, and Laura rang. I told her to go around and see you.
Okay.
She made a successful pickup on Hammer.
Well, that must be her now. I'll be in for the rest of the night. Come in.
I phoned in. They told me to come round.
I know. Grab a chair.
I am sorry about my outburst this afternoon.
I'm famous for mine. Go on, sit down. How'd you get on?
Well, so far, so good.
What happened to the car?
I put it off the road in front of his Rolls Royce.
Field school will be proud of it.
I didn't want him to suspect a plant.
I'm sure he didn't. Willie's gone to Ankara to lift a Russian defector.
There's no one in the hutch.
No matter. Hammond's priority.
When will Willie be back?
Not sure. FCO want local vetting on the Russian. Presumably, if he's found to have nothing of importance, they'll kick him out on the streets of Ankara.
Why?
Rather than antagonize the Russians, risk détente.
We have détente?
Says so in the papers.
Well, what happens to the poor man who's being kicked out? He did risk his neck to defect.
Well, it's his problem.
Charming, aren't we?
It's not our rules. Coffee. It's my ex-wife. Willie cannot understand why I keep a photograph. Not sure I know myself. Guilt, I suppose.
From what I've heard, that's warranted.
No?
Well, she couldn't take it when you were a sandbagger and you wouldn't leave the section.
That's oversimplified, but true.
So the sandbaggers destroyed your marriage?
People destroy marriages, as you must know.
Touché.
I'm making conversation, not scoring points. And I am interested.
In what?
You know how your marriage broke up? Though I'll understand if you don't want to talk about it.
Don't you know why it broke up?
I might guess.
Usual guess is wrong.
I'm sure.
Good rumour, nonetheless, went all through field school.
I do know that.
Laura Dickens is a lesbian, goes for girls. That's why you can't score with Laura Dickens.
It's not my guess.
Then what is yours? Frigidity?
All of us have aspects of our lives with which it's difficult to cope.
Even you.
More than most.
There's little evidence of it.
In the office, I've learned to survive.
And at home?
I'm unprotected.
From what? Do you want to change the subject now?
From visitations. Faces, eyes, voices. 2 more in the last few weeks.
Landy and Denson. Does Willie know?
No one knows.
Then it must have been very difficult for you to tell me. Thank you.
I told you because I want you as a sandbagger. Because it may help you to know that we all have nightmares. Mine are merely the conventional kind.
Is that why you spend your nights in the ops room? You afraid to come home, go to bed?
Aren't you afraid to go to bed too?
Don't make coffee for me. I have to go.
Okay.
I would stay, if I could.
Sure.
Good lunch?
Snack. No, it was a waste of time.
Oh?
CIA have got no record of Katuchev and they haven't got anywhere on Hamad.
Neither have we.
What?
From D-Int. Blanks all round. They know all about his bird in Paris. No ideas on his relationship with his father.
Well, they must have.
Conflicting reports. Some say Hamad loathes Tariq. Some say he's a doting son. Some say he's popular in Al-Jalada. Some say the peasants wouldn't even recognize him. Laura may have more luck. She rang in about 20 minutes ago.
And?
Hamad sent round about 50 quid's worth of flowers this morning. Taking her out this afternoon.
Okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Approved.
What?
To dive on the Karaganda.
They're mad.
No, they're not. In any case, it's one of SAS involvement for Al-Jalada.
I could have got us SAS without a trade to DGI.
I doubt that. Whatever, it's academic now. Get it actioned, will you? Dive as soon as possible in case she sails early.
Very well, but if anything goes wrong...
Yes? And while I'm here, how long is it going to take you to be satisfied about Hamad?
As long as it takes.
That's no answer.
Then I apologize, sir, but it's the only answer I've got.
Dan?
Get on to the SPT. Tell them to allocate 2 divers. Have the lead diver... Have the lead diver up here for briefing by MOD at 6 o'clock.
Willingham's been on, screaming for action on Al-Jalada.
I'm sure he has, but I can't clear it yet.
So, do we risk it?
It's too big a risk.
That's what you said about the Karaganda.
And I stand by it on the available
Let's
evidence.
stick to Al-Jalada, please. What are you doing, Neil?
Well, I put Dean's people checking every possible source. I've got Laura Dickens alongside Hamad, and I've got Jeff Ross working on it too.
What?
Unofficially.
Even so, you know what the CIA are like.
Yes, a damn sight more efficient than we are.
Gentlemen. Thank you. I can't keep Willingham at bay forever. Can you?
Not on this. He's got the bit between his teeth.
So should we. I say go.
Not yet. Give Sandbagger 2 a chance.
How much longer does she need?
I don't know.
You've got until noon tomorrow.
Why?
Because that's my decision.
But, sir, this is not even political pressure. It's Wellingham's dream of glory.
I said that's my decision.
Yes, sir.
You make me very happy. Your turn.
You keep your evil eye off it.
Never mind. To make up for your harrowing afternoon, I shall take you out for an excellent dinner this evening. You won't have dinner with me?
Tea comes first.
How can you eat so much and stay so slender?
I worry a lot.
That's up there early.
Met check, sir. Weathering's up.
Good idea. MOD briefing went off all right, did it?
No problem.
We told Paris they're going tomorrow night.
Morris and the two divers will be in Brest by lunchtime.
Right. The Sandbagger 2 managed to ring in.
She's dining at the inn in the park. I was halfway through my ham sandwich when she called. Duty ops officer. Read it. Yeah, send it down. The ops is here. Hangar, sir. They're going to boomerang Katuchev.
Get an independent check from Willie.
Sandbagger 1 concurs. Katuchev is marginal value.
There goes my long shot.
Be in your office, sir.
Till about midnight.
Oh, early night, sir.
I heard that.
Still awake?
Well, you're lucky to find me. I've usually turned into a pumpkin by now.
Sorry, dinner with the first secretary, politico-military affairs.
Well, as you said that without slurring, I'll offer you a brandy.
Thought you'd never ask. A guy by the name of Larry Griffin, expert on the Mideast.
Hamad?
Yeah, but the information's about a year out of date.
Go on.
Cheers. Well, I don't know, Larry was there about a year ago when Tariq and Hamad were best buddies.
Meaning Hamad wouldn't try to overthrow his father?
Who the hell knows? Chance of a sheikdom.
But it'll all be Hamad's one day anyway.
Maybe he isn't prepared to wait.
In other words, you don't any more than I do you?
Nope. But it sure is good brandy.
Katuchev was a dead end. Ankara boomeranged him.
Terrific. So what are you gonna do?
I don't know. It'll be out of my hands anyway by tomorrow, midday.
I don't like negative checks.
Neither do I.
Get many visitors at 2 in the morning?
KGB, pop in now. Come in. You know Laura Dickens?
Yeah.
Jeff Ross.
Hi, Laura.
Mr. Ross, sir,
Oh, that's all right, sit down.
Oh, all right, thank you. Hamad has asked me to marry him.
Don't blame him.
I stalled him, laughed it off.
And?
Tonight he got really intense, he means it. So I said the first thing I could think of, that I didn't want to live in the desert. He says he's not going back to the desert.
What?
Well, according to Hamad, his father wants him to go to Houston, Texas and study the oil business.
Yeah, if there's CIA involvement.
There isn't. Well, maybe pull that marriage routine just to get you into bed.
He's serious. I think he's fallen hard.
But he wouldn't be daft enough to apply for an American visa ahead of a coup.
Yeah, but why does he want a coup if he's not going to go back and rule the country?
And we know he does want a coup. Sorry, Laura, there's not enough to stop Wellingham or Peel.
Delay a decision.
I'm overruled on that.
Then you're in trouble.
That's the problem. I don't know whether I am or not.
None of it makes any sense because all the known facts conflict.
Exactly. That's why I'm so sure Hamad isn't straight.
There must be an element we've overlooked. A complication that would, well, simplify it, I suppose.
Yeah, but what? Hamad is either pro-West or he's not.
Well, as far as I can tell, he's mainly pro-Arab.
Well, whatever... What did you just say?
Pro-Arab?
Yes, that's the only explanation that fits all the facts. Hamad's father has gone overboard for the Russians to the extent that he's opted out of all Arab affairs, right? But the rest of the Arab world is uneasy about such a strong Russian enclave in their midst. And they've been pressing Tariq for years for greater Arab solidarity.
But all that's in the brief.
Exactly. The Arab argument is that Tariq doesn't need to be a Russian puppet. Because in the event of an invasion, the Arabs could defend him.
And Hamad agrees with the Arabs?
Yes. But Hamad has set out to prove it to his father.
We sent in a small SAS force to take out 200 Soviet-trained palace guards and find ourselves facing 2,000 Arabs.
Better than that. We'd have told Hamad the time and the place of the invasion, and he'd have told the Arabs.
And the Arabs detect our forces, mobilize their troops, get into Al-Jalada and repel the invader.
All without Russian help.
And thus Tariq creeps gratefully and humbly back into the Arab fold.
Well, don't forget the residual payoff. The rest of the world will see an Arab force defeating the British Army. The lesson was not only for Taddick.
So, stitch in time and all that?
We've still got the Caraganda.
Okay, all clear.
Okay, but there's a hell of a current out there. We may not make it.
I double-checked with London as soon as I knew the weather was bad.
And?
The controller read it out of the file. A matter of vital importance.
Sorry, Neil. Just wanted to say thank you, really. We could have caught a right one with Hamad.
Well, I've no doubt you managed to sort it out.
I was brilliant. Hamad came to me with this idea, but I was immediately suspicious. I tasked SIS, who acted on my suspicions with speed and efficiency.
You're too modest. There's no future in that.
Just taking a leaf out of your book.
No.
That Caraganda was its application. Most immodest document I ever read.
Sorry.
I saw through it right away. I only cleared it as a favor to you.
But I wanted it turned down. I mean, that's what my row with MOD was about.
But it was.
It was. It's not your problem, sir. Just a small internal misunderstanding. Sam? You got the Caraganda pack there?
Yes, sir. Came down from the Russian desk tonight.
Where are they now?
Running, sir.
We got recall.
Not now, sir. We gave them the final clear because Morris didn't want to take a radio into the dockyard.
Weather in zone?
Lousy, sir.
Morning, Neil.
Morning, sir.
Success, I believe.
She has an underwater hatch as an outlet for divers.
Shared honours, eh?
Sorry?
You were right about Hamad. I was right about the Caraganda.
I was lucky on Hamad. You were even luckier on Caraganda. Don't ever try it again.
Perhaps you'll be more civil after some sleep.
I wouldn't bet on it.